This is Will County's News Talk Sports 1340 WJOL. It is Tuesday, and it's time for another edition of the Money Talk Radio Show presented by our friends at NuMark Credit Union. Today, we discuss fraud and scam prevention. We will introduce you to our expert coming up here in just a couple of moments. Housekeeping items, number one. Today, we are going to be giving away a $25 Visa gift card. Compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Why would they do that, you ask? Well, because they're nice. They're wonderful. Oh, by the way, I'm a member of NuMark Credit Union, so I know how nice and wonderful they are. $25. How do you get a $25 Visa gift card? Well, you listen to the next several minutes. And sometime within the next several minutes, our expert today will give you the answer to a question that I will ask. I don't know what the question's going to be. Certainly don't know what the answer is going to be. That's why we've got Percy in the house. So we'll talk with him coming up in just a couple of moments. So be listening. $25 can be yours if you are the first correct caller at 815-254-7300. If you need help financing your next big step, whether you're buying a home, getting behind the wheel of a newer pre-driven vehicle, or tackling projects with a home equity line of credit, NuMark Credit Union offers flexible loan options designed to fit your needs and budget. From mortgages to auto loans and to HELOCs, NuMark is ready to help you move forward with confidence. Visit newmarkcu.org for more details. That's newmarkcu.org for more details. Percy is a manager, actually a fraud and scam manager at NuMark Credit Union, and Percy Garay joins us this morning on the Turk Furniture Studio line. Good morning, Percy.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. A very important person that we're going to be talking to today here, people, because he is the one that knows how to avoid being scammed, avoid being the victim of fraud. So welcome to the show. As an overview, when we're talking fraud and scams, what do you do every day? Do you sit there and investigate things that have happened, or are you more prevention, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both. Definitely investigating portion, but mainly a lot of proactive monitoring. So we do have systems in place to where we have tools and, specific parameters set to where, our systems alert us of suspicious activity that kind of align with these fraud and trends and tactics that are being seen today. So, again, a holistic overview of, what we do in the department is a lot of proactive monitoring as well as investigating, unfortunately, the victims that end up in the midst of all this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into this right now. Most common scams. Take your time. If there's a long list, we get calls quite a bit here, usually from the elderly, saying, "Scott, this is what happened, and was I frauded? Was I scammed?" And well, I have a story that I'll tell you a little bit later on if we have time about a 24-year-old girl who lost $5,000. That was for her wedding because of a scam. But I'll let you talk about some of the financial scams that you are seeing in our community right now.
Oh yeah, like you mentioned, the list can go on and on and on. But the most permanent kind of scams that we have been seeing so far in the community, I would say, are definitely impersonation calls. So this tends to occur when you have a fraudster who ends up calling you and they are saying, "Hey, Scott, this is my name is so-and-so, and I am from NuMark Credit Union, for example. And I'm calling you in regards to some activity that we're seeing on your account. And I need you to send me, money via gift cards, for example, in order for us to take care of it. Or else, we're going to continue to let this happen." That's basically kind of a synopsis of what, the impersonation scams kind of consist of. Again, they may not necessarily be, calling from your quote-unquote financial institution, but they will be calling from, other companies, AT&T, sometimes government agencies. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely important just to be sure that, you're aware who you are talking to.
Absolutely. Okay, so impersonators, what are some of the others?
Another one that we've seen that are, especially summertime now, a lot of, older, I would say teens, young adults, are job scams, especially during the summer, school's out. we're a break from college, so a lot of individuals are seeking out some part-time jobs or, full-time gigs for the summer. So again, these fraudsters are out there on Facebook, LinkedIn, Indeed, all these job posting sites, and they're essentially promoting their quote-unquote job that kind of entices these individuals to, get a lot of money in a quick, short time. But, at the end of the day, they're being scammed out of, thousands, hundreds of dollars for doing simple tasks at the end of the day. So, again, they're enticing you to do this, what seems too good to be true type of job. And that's how you get a lot of their victims that way.
We're talking today with Percy Garay, fraud and scam manager at NuMark Credit Union. This is Money Talk, brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Before we move on here, just real quick. So my daughter's friend growing up lives in Ohio now, and someone representing, they said they were representing the Will County Sheriff's Department, told her that if she didn't pay these fines right now, Percy, there was going to be a warrant for her arrest, and the cops in Ohio have been informed they'd be waiting for her outside of her office building, and she would be arrested and extradited back to Will County on the spot. Now, this is a smart girl. $5,000 they got from her. $5,000 in gift cards. That just rips your heart out. I mean, and that's money she was saving for her upcoming wedding.
Mm-hmm.
No one.
Yeah, and that isn't the first time we've heard similar kind of stories or kind of tactics being used. I know we'll get into some of the kind of questions further down, but definitely what you had mentioned there, just kind of the kind of threatening kind of tactics and urgency, definitely things to look out for in these kind of scams. Yeah,
I mean, no one is going to ask for you to pay any type of fine or payment in a gift card. It's just not something that is done anywhere. Okay, let's talk about how we can spot a scam. Other than those two little tips we gave you, what are you seeing that will help us spot a scam, hopefully a mile away?
Yeah, so definitely, like I mentioned, kind of the urgency of these specific calls, emails, texts, whatever they may be, just being sure that you can definitely stop and verify the source, so whoever is calling you, where you're getting the information from. But on the other hand, also be sure to definitely take a moment, step back. What I like to tell our members here is to do the 10-2 rule that we have. Take 10 minutes just to talk to 2 trusted sources about what is going on. So again, if it is an email that you receive with a suspicious link, if it's a text message that you receive from a suspicious, sender, if you're unaware of the sender at all, just again, take a step back, review all the information that you have, talk to 2 people that you trust, and be sure to talk everything out right then and there. Again, the last thing that we want you guys to do is click on these links to where they may have, ultimately now access to all of your device and information from there.
Okay. Biggest mistake people make that puts us at risk, because they're going to try to scam you. We can obviously stop it, but what do most people do that end up getting scammed?
The biggest thing I would say is definitely just acting too quickly. Again, you mentioned that you had a friend that ultimately got a call demanding to be paid in gift cards, for example. Although, that is one of the things that we tell our members to look out for. A lot of people do get that kind of fear instilled into them based on the initial phone call. So definitely is not trying to act with too much emotion at first. I know, again, a lot of these tactics tend to scare the individuals that they're attempting to call. But again, just taking a step back, saying, I shouldn't be paying, the Will County Sheriff's Office example in gift cards. Or, NuMark's not going to tell me to take out my funds and deposit them into an ATM machine to, give out in crypto, for example. Just things that don't add up. And again, you really won't reveal that or kind of come to that conclusion right up front, being that, all this fear is being instilled into you. So it's definitely important just to take a step back.
Absolutely. Take a step back is a good idea. Technology is playing a role in scams. As a matter of fact, the greater technology advances, the more scams and the better these fraudsters get.
Oh, yeah. Technology is advancing a day. Whether we like it or not, it's going to be hard to keep up, and the fraudsters are just right there with all these advancing tools. I mean, there are ways for them to mimic our phone numbers. There's ways for them to mimic our voices. And now even with images, I know many of your listeners may be aware of, some of the big cases that have been on the news over the past couple months, maybe even years, regarding AI. So this is definitely going to be heavily seen in scams, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Percy, another quick anecdote here. My son was in college, got a phone call from someone saying it was his grandpa. And he knew it wasn't, number one, by the guy's voice, but number two, by the way he talked, and some of the things that he talked about was completely different than how his grandpa used to talk to him. So there's just another case. They call you, hey, Scott, how you doing? And they knew his name, and they knew he was in college, and that was basically it. And then the questions started going off the rails. So, yeah, pretty remarkable stuff. Now let's bring things full circle to you and your job. How can we protect our accounts at a financial institution? We've got you at NuMark, but how can we help you help us, if that makes sense?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely the best thing to do is stop by your local branch and talk to them about your account safety in general. Every financial institution is going to be different, but I know at NuMark our staff will be able to review the transactions with you if there are some in question, and we'd be able to set up, passwords or passcodes to be prompted before conducting any activity on your account. So again, if someone were to call and say, hey, my name is Scott, I have an account at NuMark, I want to know how much I have in my savings, for example. Well, before we even begin anything, we're going to need to know that password that you set up, Scott. That's one of the best things that we could do at NuMark Credit Union, which we have helped with a lot of our members on. But as well as, making sure that they're up to date on their monitoring for their credit, financials, and more. So that's basically on the account side, but I know on the digital side, which I know a lot of our listeners and NuMark members, they primarily do a heavy amount of banking on their phone. So definitely be sure to change your passwords frequently. Be sure that they're unique. I know I am a clear example of one having to use the same password for many different logins. Definitely do not do that. Definitely suggest to, use pass phrases rather than codes. So, I like to use one of the phrases. Again, I'm putting one of my passwords out there, unfortunately. We'll change that later. But I like to include something around with my dog. Hey, my dog's name, don't do that. Just because I say it so frequently around the household, that's, a password or a passphrase I won't forget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a neat thing. Neat thing to do. Very, very smart as well. What are some new or emerging scams people might not be aware of yet?
Yeah, so one of the big ones is QR code scams. I'm sure your listeners are aware of, some of them may be able to take out their phones, access their cameras, and they scan a code, which, typically can be found anywhere, whether it be at a financial institution, restaurants, convenience stores, malls. Basically, it's a QR code that you scan, and it brings up a menu, a kind of list of items. Fraudsters are kind of putting their own QR codes on top of others. So when you do scan it, it is bringing up the valid kind of list, but also anything that you may enter as far as passcodes, logins, they're also retrieving that information. It's being sent back to them. So it's kind of a two-way kind of path of the QR code scams that these fraudsters are putting out there. I would say another one as well as kind of emerging is with kind of having to do with the online portion as far as websites go. It's called the CAPTCHA scam. So this is where at times when you are shopping online, you are meant to kind of do a variety of tasks towards the end just to prove that you're not a robot. A lot of these websites tend to kind of fish out and kind of alleviate the bots from their website so that, real users have access to, merchandise. However, these CAPTCHA scams are being put onto websites to where you enter a string of commands and it automatically installs malware onto your computer. Again, this is something that's relatively new. there's no real easy way to kind of say where it is or, what website it's currently on. It just depends on the site that you access. So it's really diligent. I, urge your listeners to definitely look up more into it, just because I know, especially with, this, what's it called, the holidays towards the end of the year, a lot of people are going to do a lot of online shopping. This is something that's going to be relevant come later down the road.
Absolutely. Percy, let's kind of go back to the example I gave, Will County Sheriff's Office calling, and it says in the caller ID, Will County Sheriff's Office, which is pretty remarkable that they can do that. How can people verify if something is real, such as that call from a government agency or from a financial institution?
Yeah, definitely. So, like you had mentioned, the call ID will say, Will County Sheriff's Officer, a specific company, and it's coming through as the real kind of company agency. It's done by spoofing. These fraudsters do have tools to kind of mimic our phone numbers, so we will receive calls with the correct call ID. The best thing that we kind of urge our members to do is to definitely hang up. Visit the company that's calling you or the agency that's calling you, visit their website, and call back directly using the number that is published on their website. Again, they should have no problem with you doing that. Again, that's you being proactive with your account or your, information that the government agency may have. So definitely, you can, whoever calls you first, ask for name, say, okay, I'm going to call back in a second using the push phone number. That's the best thing we do. And again, that kind of deters a lot of the fraud when it comes to impersonation scams.
I know it might be embarrassing to tell someone that you got scammed, but I'm guessing it's very important to report these scams, even if you weren't a victim.
Oh, yeah, very important. And again, I know there are many victims who ultimately are embarrassed of, kind of the small dollar amount, large dollar amount that may have occurred. But again, you're not alone in all this. No one is alone. Everyone has been some type of victim at once when it comes to these type of scams, whether you fall for it or not. But it's definitely important to report it because these are investigated by law enforcement and possibly even higher agencies. The more reports, the more eyes on these scams, which can lead to definitely arrest and, most importantly, education on what is out there for everyone to be aware of.
Okay. Interesting, as we're talking right now, I just got a text message from someone, support.andrew. a last name. I'm going to not even open that up on my phone, right?
Definitely not. Yeah. Again, going back to what I mentioned before, if you receive an unexpected text, call, email, definitely take a step back, review all the information, and kind of take actions from there. If it's someone that you don't recognize, I typically wouldn't even bother acknowledging it. Just delete it.
Yeah, just delete it altogether. Absolutely. All right, we got a couple more. Don't forget, folks, got a $25 Visa gift card. What steps should someone take immediately if they think they've been scammed?
Yeah, so the first steps, definitely stop communication with the individual that, ultimately was a part of the scam. That's going to be the biggest thing. The next thing is going to be contacting your FI to inform them of any fraud that had occurred on your account, if any. This is where, they can lock down your account, where we can begin setting up the passwords for your account just to prevent anything or anyone from accessing your account. After that, definitely change passwords, whether it be to your email, your financial institution accounts, any accounts that may have been kind of affected with this scam. Definitely go in and change them. The biggest thing, which definitely overlooked a lot, is documenting everything that had happened. So again, if there are phone calls that had made, be sure to record the timestamps, the phone numbers, the text messages, the emails. Just make sure you have proof of all that, because all that will come in handy with the final step of reporting the scam to your financial institution, as well as the police, the Federal Trade Commission, and the FBI's kind of internet crime monitoring service, which is called the IC3.
Any way to claw back any of that money that you lose? I know financial institutions, you'll have our backs. I get that, but it's next to impossible to claw back any money that you've been scammed.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I know the FI does a good job in obtaining all the funds, if not some of the funds that were lost. However, when it does become a bigger, broader kind of case, and it involves multiple financial institutions, not just, NuMark, for example, that's where it becomes a little bit harder. And I know the police, the FTC, FBI, they do a good job in trying to, one, catch the criminal, and as well as trying to get the funds that were taken.
Exactly. Percy, thank you, man. We appreciate you being so thoughtful and so in-depth and detailed with all your answers. Great job. I think we helped out people a lot. So thank you very much, sir.
Of course. Thank you, Scott.
Percy Garay, fraud and scam manager at NuMark Credit Union. All right, I've got a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Boy, so much information. I'm going to go back to the story that I told about my daughter's friend. How much money did she have scammed? 815-254-7300. That's 815-254-7300. How much money did she have scammed? Let's go to the Turk Furniture studio line. Hi, good morning. You're on WJOL. Who's this?
Hi, Scott. It's Rita. How are you?
Good, Rita. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Do you know the answer?
I do. She lost $5,000.
Do you believe it? Smart kid, too. College degree, smart, top of her class, and sends gift cards from Ohio to Will County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, it's sad that there are perpetrators of fraud like this. And no matter how smart you are, it's easy to panic in the moment.
You got it right. Rita, congratulations. You have won a $25 gift card to NuMark Credit Union, the one in Crest Hill by Six Corners. Make sure you take an ID because we're trying to prevent fraud by having anybody come in with the name Rita and just say, I won on WJL Radio, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Rita. We appreciate that. Hey, need help financing your next big step? Whether you're buying a home, getting behind the wheel of a new or pre-driven vehicle, or tackling projects with a home equity line of credit, NuMark Credit Union offers flexible loan options designed to fit your needs and budget. Mortgages, auto loans, HELOCs, NuMark is ready to help you move forward with confidence. Visit NuMarkCU.org for more details.